about those scoopy bows and steady bow speed, and your left thumb coming back. At all?
No.
Okay, I will make a note, and next time we do a lesson we'll do that. Okay, so let's just review what's happened in book 3 so far. So what would you say is the main teaching point of Martini Gavotte?
Can I have a look at it for a second?
Memory.
Yeah, definitely memory is one of the big things.
The dance style?
Yeah. Anything else, Kit? What's it refining that we've had since book 1?
Dynamics?
Yes, but something more specific than that.
There's a lot of accents, but also
Like all of those scoopy, and then the more or less.
yeah.
At the tone, you're always trying to get better and better at the tone in different contexts.
So would you say accents?
Well, I think these accents are a bit overdone. I would just say tone, like tone quality,
Okay.
and yeah, dynamics and phrasing. Good. Bach Minuet. Something about that, please, Kate. The big thing in this version versus the other version.
The minor section of the trill things.
Yes. Can you give me the proper word for the trill things?
The ornament.
Very good. Well done. Yeah. So we've never had this many ornaments in one piece before. Good. The minor section is new. What happens in the minor section that is new and exciting for them?
Shifting?
Good. Yeah. They have done quite a bit of shifting,
Yeah.
haven't they? Something else? It's in the title.
The minor key?
Yeah. Playing in a minor key. Like, which other pieces have we had in the minor?
I'm not sure.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I was going to say the next one.
Yeah. Gavotte in G minor is obviously a big piece in G minor, but in terms of minor pieces, book 2, we have pieces with low ones, but it's partly in D major and partly in D minor. But for G minor, we definitely haven't had anything in. We've got Lully Gavotte in the minor, but not with that yellow with a hot pink 3 finger pattern, which is all of this. So definitely it's new-ish to have minor at all, and then it's very new to have that G major minor pattern, G minor finger pattern. Good, and more memory because it's bigger, longer, and the ornaments. Good. Gavotte in G minor. Main teaching point.
Minor key?
Yes, and what does that impact the most?
Finger pattern?
Yeah, which impacts?
Intonation?
Exactly, yeah. So it's really looking to find that resonance in a different finger pattern than we've had for a whole piece before. Yeah, good. And what else happens in Gavotte in G minor, Kit?
The Could you say like the? It's not real, but the sharps where it goes into that little section.
Yeah, what would you call them? You did it with ornaments, you can do it with... If you have a sharp or a natural or a flat in the piece, it's called an... It's called a... Accidental.
Yeah.
We do not want our accidentals to be accidental. Good. And yeah, one other main musical teaching point, Kit.
Not pattern, but the way it moves, kind of. I don't know. I just when I think of this piece,
Are you looking at your teaching points?
No, but I'm seeing with this one that's got this. My teaching points are in that book. But when I
When you look at the tick boxes, what do you think is the one I want you to tell me about right now?
bow distribution.
In order to have excellent... What is bow distribution for? We don't care where we are in the bow unless it makes a difference to the...
The tone and intonation. No.
Tone and...
Dynamics.
Dynamics.
Yeah.
Exactly. The bow distribution, like slower, faster, is to get that crescendo, isn't it? Yeah. So Gavotte and G minor is mostly for the left hand about intonation and for the right hand about those dynamics and really being able to control the bow to have wonderful dynamics. Good. And then here we are. So let's play Humoresque. Before we play it, what do you think of the big things that happen in this piece? Devon, one please. Do you want a stand?
Sure. Yeah.
Show it me if you want.
Okay.
Well, I think if you want to notate your book, it's easier to have two stands.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can just go, there's probably one next door.
Okay.
The bow distribution for the beginning part.
Yes, excellent. Even more overriding for the whole piece than that. What is there lots of in this piece that we've never had loads and loads of before?
Demi-semiquavers?
That is absolutely correct, but not what I'm after. I'm not sure how useful it is for you, babe, to have a blank copy
I know.
and then the copy that's got the stuff in.
Yeah,
Why are you using the book? Just use your folder.
Yeah.
And also, you need to have your teaching points.
That's in there, but I've been typing them up, so I need it. Yeah, I have been typing them up, but I'm putting them in a different book for now.
Okay.
Which I'll then put back into last year.
Yeah.
After them.
Okay, so when you look at this, you can look at it for 2 seconds and see what I'm talking about. Because it jumps out the page at you.
The sections.
What sections?
The A, B, A.
No. You're thinking along the right lines, you're just misidentifying what you see. What am I talking about on the page? What do you notice about this piece when you look at that page? What's the first thing that jumps out at you after that?
Well, they're not big that. But I don't understand those lines. I just put them in, but I don't understand them.
What do you think that they mean?
Just a different type of structured bowing thing.
No,
I don't know.
Oh,
position theme above shifting.
you, shifting. Oh my god, we got there. Yes, shifting. Yeah. Do you have the printout of the colours that the shifting means? I can't show you on the computer because it's recording.
These, yeah.
Right, so that's...
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
I guess now. I was wondering why you drew random lines in your book.
So...
We'll get there one day with me.
The shifting is the major thing that happens in this piece. The bow distribution also needs very careful work, And the intonation is obviously something that is going to be affected by both the shifting and by the different finger patterns that you have when you're in first position. So let's play. You compare them to each other. So once you've got the A, always play A and D. Do you love the E? Bit too high? There you go. Which is higher, me or you?
You.
Yes, good. Good. So when we get to the end, we will do the repeat. If you have the bandwidth to think about it, third position, 2-2. my notes already, Devin?
No. So,
Can we really make a concerted effort to start doing that? Because I'm worried about time, and every time we go through and I just tell you what you've already got on the videos and
Yeah.
not videos, pictures, we lose time where you can't catch up at home because you haven't got the information.
yes, I'm worried that it was on the WhatsApp group and that after a certain amount of time I wasn't able to access it anymore.
The WhatsApp group?
Or it's on
Access it all the
it's on the
time.
cloud.
The WhatsApp group's got everything on there.
Yes, but after a certain amount of time it says this photo is no longer available, can you ask them to resend it?
Oh, that's weird. That's never happened.
That's really weird.
Oh, I get that all the time.
Can you just make it go back to the chat?
Yeah, but
It may be from when I changed my
it could be my settings
Fine.
potentially, but
So they're all there. If you go to
Yeah.
if you click on it and you go to the media links and documents.
oh, that's alright. Oh, weird. Okay. Okay, I'll just
I
copy it from
I
that.
don't think you're missing anything.
Yeah.
But don't be scared to ask me for these things if you're thinking, oh, I don't know
Yeah.
if I can get, like if you get that all the time,
Yeah.
please ask. Okay, so you can see from the book that I've put pictures up of that I am changing some of these. Let's talk about shifting first. If you've taken all the opportunities for them to shift that they've had, which pieces can you remember from book 2 have shifting in them? You can get your book if you want to. Where do we generally imagine doing the first shift in book 2?
At the end.
Of?
That's extension. Oh, is it the minuet when you go up?
That's not the first time, but that is a time that we expect them to shift, yes. Go right back to the other end of the book. Is that your annotated copy, Devin?
Yes.
So it's got your teaching points in it.
Yeah.
So you're looking for a red line, which will show you to shift.
Don't think I've put a red line on.
Right, guys, we've got to get it together, otherwise there's going to be a massive panic on June the 26th.
Yeah.
I don't think I put a red line. And I
Wow.
copied from. But I copied from your book. In your book, I don't think had a line in it in book 2.
Maybe because it's in review, but we have definitely talked about this when we went through the teaching points. The end of musette is the first really nice opportunity for them to shift. Yes, teach harmonic in review. For
Oh,
second
yes,
time.
yep. I've got it.
So
here.
there isn't a red line because we wouldn't do it the first time, but
yeah,
it is
no,
there.
I've got it written in here, yeah.
So you're imagining that certainly they would be the middle of book 2 before they actually start shifting in pieces, and they're doing all of those exercises, the ghosties, and practicing pieces in third position during book 2, but not the actual act of shifting in and out of different positions.
Would you really qualify a harmonic as shifting though?
Can you do it in first position?
No, but
So yes.
it doesn't really feel like a shift.
I would argue this is the act of shifting,
Yeah.
and so you can't get there without doing that. Playing in position is different. It's definitely not the same as playing in position because you don't have to put your finger down.
Right. Yeah.
But that's a very good point. So where would you say is the first time you're going to play out of first position,
What do you mean, out of
given the
position?
other time that you said you were going to shift is also a harmonic? Yeah, and Boccherini?
Yeah.
So when is the first time they're going to play out of first position?
Oh, would that be that extension one?
I would not say that an extension is leaving first position. It's just a finger extension.
Oh.
But look at that piece in more detail.
Sorry, which piece?
Lily Gavot. Number 10.
And What was the question? No, but I didn't understand the question.
Where is the first time we are playing a proper note in a different position from first position that is not a harmonic? Your first real shift, one might say, although I do think a harmonic is a real shift. A real shift with a stopped note.
Are you talking about in bar 22?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm talking about the last note.
I was going to say that one.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but then I haven't
So
got
why
it.
didn't you say it then?
No, but it hasn't got a 2 or anything written in. That's why I wasn't sure.
Look, this is what my book looks like here.
I must have missed that one. But because I've been, that's what I did on my break. I re-added everything and everything. So.
Okay, good. Well, it's there. And then we have lots of half position in minuet in G, which is not really
Oh, so it is.
big shifting, but is a different position. Yeah? And then you've got the harmonics in minuet Boccherini, but not stopped note shifting. So during book 2, you are teaching them how to shift using exercises and like book 1 review, twinkle in third position, go tonic rhodey in third position, all of that good stuff. So then book 3 is where they start to shift in their pieces. It doesn't happen in Martini Gavotte. It happens in the slow part, in the minor part of the minuet. It doesn't happen in Gavotte and G minor. So this is the first big shifting piece.
Okay.
So I am changing bar 8, the last note of 7 and 8 to be in third position. I'm imagining you would think it helpful to have a session on shifting soonish.
Yeah.
Another
I mean,
one.
we've done a bit on shifting.
Review, yeah. I mean, I think we've done a bit on pretty much everything that's in the level. So we're now into reviewing. We've got the thing about career change coming up. But yeah.
Is that you?
No. Connor next door. Okay. So a guide note shift is where you shift on the finger you're leaving, or from the position you're leaving. You are shifting on the 1, and then you're putting the 2 down when you get to third position. That's a guide note shift because the note that you were on guides you into the position that you need to go into, and then you play the new note. A romantic shift is where you shift on the note you're going to, and you want to slide. Romantic shift or portamento shift. And then you've got a jumping or a hopping shift, which is when you've got an open string, so you can't guide a finger into it because you're leaving an open string. For example, bar 11. So this is the first piece that's got all of those different types of shifts in it.
Sorry, so guide shift, romantic shift, and what's the last
Guide
one?
note shift. Portamento shift I think is more useful than romantic because it actually does describe what you do. And then a hopping or jumping shift. Or an open string shift you could also call it. I'm just going to get my big encyclopedia and see what he says. Simon Fisher says about it. Highly recommend you get this book, Basics by Simon Fisher. It's really useful to basically look up anything. So, for example, shifting. One, 5, 7. So classical shifts, the hand moving on the finger that begins the shift. So that is what I'm calling a guide note shift. Upwards. Romantic shifts, end shifts, the hand moving on the finger that ends the shift. Never played descending. And then there are all sorts of other things like combination shifts and exchange shifts, where you put the finger on the, like the new finger on the same place the old finger was. I don't think he's got a name for what happens if it's an open string. So we'll continue to call it a jumping shift or an open string shift. Okay. So this piece has got all of those, apart from the exchange shift, and you want to make sure that the students really understand the different types of shifting that they're doing. They should be quite easily able to do the first one in bar 8 and 9, 7 and 8, sorry, because they've done loads of ghosties, and then you just put the 2 down once you get up there. And also this one. Because that's, you know, they will have been used to doing Twinkle in third position or other pieces starting on a 2, so that's just like the beginning of that. The portamento shift is at the beginning of bar 13, only on the echo, not the first time. So in 9, I am changing it to be in first position, because I want them to continue to do that 4th finger work of matching an open string, then the 4th. E4, rather than just doing loads of shifting. Because we're doing loads of shifting elsewhere. So what kind of shift kit would you say is bar 25? Is it a guide note shift?
No, it'd be too complicated for a guide note.
Is it a romantic shift? Do you slide onto the 2?
No, you should just place it.
So it's a...
Why has to be a portamento then?
No, portamento is the same as romantic. The other type we've just been talking about?
Oh, hopping.
Yeah. So a jumping shift or a hopping shift, it doesn't have to be from an open string, it can also just be where you just have to find that position, that finger. You could call it a guide note shift and put the 1, 2 on each time. It depends like how confident they're feeling, but generally you might put the 1 there and then the 2 on, or probably most of the time they just find the 2. There's no shift there already. Now here in 30, I would very much recommend you play 1, 2 and then shift. Can you think of a reason why that would be better than playing 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, D, 1, 3, G, 1, 3?
Sorry.
Oh, to shift down instead of stay up.
No, to shift down 2 notes later in bar 30.
Oh.
Yeah.
To shift down on the B flat on a 2 rather than to play a C on a 3 at the
Because
beginning
they'll
of the
probably
bar.
miss it with their first finger or something.
Sorry?
They might miss it with their first finger, it'll be out of tune, so it'll just be easier just to shift down. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's on the same finger?
Yes, it's on the same finger. So
Yeah.
it's going to be easier for them to play because they've done a million ghosties by now. Yeah, that's just a reverse, like going down part of the ghosty. Whereas, sorry, they haven't done so many times. And also it's really going to interrupt the flow of that bit because unless you want a big slide, that's what you hear a lot if you do that fingering. It's much easier to do it between the D natural and the B flat, partly because the D has that resonance because it's an open string note, so you can lighten the bow and hide the shift, but you'll still hear the sound. Make sense? And then also in 34, there's not an easy way to avoid coming down on a different finger, but it's on the A string, much more familiar territory for them. So I think that's a better place to practice that skill. And the other change that I make to the fingering is 49. I'm not shifting up for the same reason as I didn't in 9.
Sorry, 43. What did you change on 43?
Nothing.
Oh.
49,
49.
the same as 9.
Yeah.
So 1, E4, 3, what's underneath basically.
Okay.
And then yes to 51 in 3rd position. Yes to 53 with a portamento shift.
So, I know you just said it, but I don't.
It's okay.
The portamento, is that the sliding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Portamento literally means you can hear the shift. Yes to 55, and then at the end, I highly recommend you do 2, 4, 4, 4, because it's much easier for a student who's not done that many harmonics and pieces, only 2 so far, yeah, to play and lighten their finger as they slide, rather than to go from here. Like to lift one finger and put another one down is much more complicated than just sliding up, and you'll hear a lot of that, whereas it's easier and I think more beautiful. So how would you approach bar 8, 7 into 8 the first time, Devon? That shift. Da-dum, bum, bum.
2, 2.
Yeah, but the act of shifting, how are you going to help them?
With ghosties.
Good. Can you show me on your violin how you would? I'll be your student.
I maybe start by on a 2 on D, and then practice ghosties going from 2 to.
Hang on. Which finger are you using to shift on?
1.
So you're on the right line, it's just the wrong finger.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, then I start on 1.
Yep. Can
Yeah,
you show me a ghosty?
I would use.
Can you show me a ghosty? On the 1? Nope. Same finger. Where's your 1 going to? Which note's the 1 going to?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
So yes,
Okay, yeah.
that's absolutely right. So we would
Yeah.
do that first. However many times they need to do it, good.
Yeah.
And then how would you build towards what's on the music?
I'd get them to do that.
Yeah.
Stop. Put the 2 down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
you're
get them
exactly
to
right.
do that a few times.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't really matter about the bowing. Good. And then to turn it into the actual thing.
Just in one bow.
Just have a look at your music, Tom.
Just do the whole sequence of.
Yes. How are we going to make sure that they are using what we've just done?
Get them to play.
Yeah. Oh, so nearly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you need an audible guide note
Mhm.
for the beginning part, and then eventually you put it on the end of the note that has the shift in it. So the 1 is where you're going to shift.
Mhm.
So that gets added onto the E. It doesn't get. Yeah, we don't want that. So it happens at the end of this note, and then there you are.
Okay.
So you would go through those steps, doing the ghosty, do a ghosty, and then add the 2. And then when you put it all together, there's your guide note. And that's the box they practice.
Okay. Would you never? Could you not teach it a different way and just go and then plant the 2 and just do it with the 2, or
Yeah, what kind of shift would that be?
an open string shift?
Can you just show me what
Or
you
no? A guide note shift.
What does a guide note shift mean?
That you're going from the same finger upwards.
Not quite. Can you define a guide note shift for us?
Where you can hear it shifting.
That's portamento. Try again. Either of you? I will give you the start of the sentence. A guide note shift is where you shift on the finger you are.
Going
Come.
towards.
No! Leaving.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you are right.
yeah. But that's not.
So look at the note before the shift.
Yeah.
That's the finger you're leaving.
Yeah.
So a guide note shift is doing what? Which finger?
The 1.
Shifting on the 1
Yeah.
and then putting the 2 down. That's exactly what we just talked about you doing with your students.
So
Yes.
it wouldn't work
Yeah.
with the guide note.
So if you did this, sorry,
So it wouldn't work with the guide note anyway.
that is what we just did. This. That's your guide note. It guides you into third position and then you put the 2 on.
Mhm.
So it's like someone taking you, like this is the house you need to go to, here's the front door, and then you open the door and you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah? Whereas, what's that?
I mean, you just played that as portamento.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done. It's portamento shift.
Yeah.
That means I am shifting on the finger I am going to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah? So
Yeah.
think about arriving or leaving. Like a guide note shift is going to where you're going on the note you're leaving. So you get there and then you leave it there. And a portamento shift is going on the note you are going towards. So you go there on that finger and then you're there.
Okay.
Right? Portamento shifts are very unusual. Don't really have any place in Baroque music at all. This is a romantic piece. Very unusually, what's the other romantic piece we have in the, well, couple in the repertoire?
No idea.
Book 3 or book 2 as well?
I don't think there are any others in book 3. When was Becca?
That was book 2.
No, no, it's not. It's in book 3. I know that. I mean, what dates? Let's ask Google.
The guide note shift is going to the note with the finger that you've just left.
Shifting on the finger you're leaving. Jean Becker. So classical. It's not very much about him here. Oh, Dvorak, we know that. Oh. The Dvorak Slavonic String Quartet was dedicated to Becker. There you go. So this is so Becker's classical, but in terms of romantic, we've got Brahms waltz.
Alright.
Beethoven is mostly classical, and the Beethoven Minuet and Trio is not particularly a romantic piece. It's kind of on the cusp, but basically there are very, very few actually romantic pieces, and this is one of them. So you're not going to suddenly dive into loads of portamento shifts because they haven't had very much practice at it, and it's really not very often used. Like it's a special thing that you do to make a point about that shift. 95% of shifts are probably not that.
Why do you call it portamento? Why can't it just be called sliding shift?
Because portamento means a slide you can hear.
It's a weird word.
It's Italian, darling.
Ugh.
Yes, I know. Okay.
So any shift where you're sort of guessing, you have no guide at all and you're guessing, that would be a hopping shift. Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess jumping would be a slightly better word to use because hopping implies that you're hopping straight over the string.
Yeah,
I think jumping's a bit better. So here, jumping. The reason we do a portamento shift is it's like really over the top beautiful moment, but we don't want to just slide around like that all the time. It becomes, a bit like Montechamp or something that's very like overdone. So I would just restrict it to those two in bar 13 and 53. And you have to spend a lot of time doing ghosties on 3 with the student, and then find the 3 and shift once you've started playing it. And they go through a stage of playing it like this. And that's kind of fine because they're just still measuring where they're going to, and then you can refine it. Light finger. Because it's not actually a glissando, like if you're playing that's a glissando, your finger is fully down the whole way through. But a portamento shift, it's like the middle bit of a ghosty. So you have your finger on the top of the string and then you depress it once you get there.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Kit?
I think so.
So it's like a harmonic while you're moving, and then it becomes a stopped note once you get there.
So 25 would be a jumping shift.
Yep. 27 also. 31 also. 35, 33 still in third position from before.
Oh, yeah.
35, 37, 39.
So there isn't. And the guide shift would be bar 8, 7 and 8.
Guide note,
Yeah.
yes. You might have students who want the 1 and then the 2 in all of that middle section. It's not really a guide note shift because they wouldn't be sliding on the 1 and then putting the 2 down. It's just like helpful. The main rule for shifting, most of the time, is shift on the lower finger. So, for example, in 35, you wouldn't play, that's not the guide note because it's going higher, you want to keep the sound under where you're going. So even if you did want to use a guide note, you would put your 1 on and then go.
Well, wouldn't that just change to just a hopping shift then?
No, it would change to a portamento shift if you heard it.
Oh, okay.
Which is why it is a jumping shift. You just jump into third position. You don't.
Yeah.
You're not guiding yourself anyway. You just put the 1 in third position.
And then a portamento shift at the end, at the very, very end.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
And that's unavoidable because it's the same finger and in a slur. So you couldn't play it without hearing it unless you stopped the bow. And then you're not doing what's written.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okie dokie, the tick boxes are intonation, shifting, tone, memory, boxes, dynamics,
Structure.
romantic style, and structure. The preview boxes, so please flip back a page and right at the bottom of page 14, start preview of bar 23 of Humoresque plus shifting for bar 13 and 25 if necessary.
Sorry, can you say
Wait,
that again?
what?
Start preview of bar 23. That's a different preview box, we haven't talked about that yet, that's not shifting. Of Humoresque plus shifting for bar 13 and 25 if necessary. So everyone needs to do 13 because they've never done a portamento shift before. But you'll have some children, if they've got really into shifting and they've been playing like all their book 1 pieces in third position, they won't need to practice getting ready for that D and 25. But if they have worries about shifting, then you'll need to preview that.
Oh, so you do preview the bar 22 and 24 and also bar 9. 13.
23, yeah,
Because that's what you got in your book, yeah.
yeah.
But also you add the 12 to 13. Or not?
13. Everyone needs to preview 13 because it's a brand new thing to do a portamento shift. And some will need to do 25. I don't worry about 7 and 8 until we're actually in the piece because it's quite simple for them.
Yep.
Okay, we have 4 minutes. Let's see if we can finish this. So the preview box, we've talked about how to approach the portamento shift with ghosties and then lightening the finger. Bar 25. Kit, could you show me what you could do with a student who's worried about finding that D? Third position.
Play it open and redo.
Can you show me? So I'll be your student, you just do my turn, your turn.
Well, this is how I would teach. I'd do like maybe 1, 2, 3 and then shift up to find go into their
Show
position.
me, this is all good stuff.
So obviously you do 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, don't tell me, just show me.
Up. And then you play.
Okay, that's great. If you were a student, I think you would play the notes. So just do it with playing all of the things you did. That was brilliant. Yeah. Perfect. So good. Next step would be? I'll just remind you the bit before finishes here.
I mean, you could do it as well and then transfer over.
Can you show me?
Well, you could do. So you finish on the 3. That's another.
Not quite what I'm after. Try again. You're so nearly there. Show me. You're doing really well.
Then you do.
Exactly. That's exactly what you could do. Find the C, put the stages, but that's exactly what some of them will need. What would you then do
For the next part.
to get closer to what is actually going to happen in the music? So what could you remove from what you've just done to make it more close to the actual music? The worst that you can do is say something and it'll be wrong.
Well,
But that's not wrong.
just because when you tap it, you can kind of hear it anyway. So
Yeah, so
Right.
that's exactly what's going to happen in the end, isn't it? What would be one step in between that you would keep in to help your student that I have already talked about, them maybe needing?
Try doing a ghosty with the one.
It's not a ghosty shift, it's a jumping shift, so you're not going to put a ghosty in. But you're on the right track to think about the one. Yes!
Place the one first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Both of you got there exactly at the same
Yeah.
time. Place the one, put the two on. There you go. Yeah? And if that's out of tune, then you just get them to play the one. So all of those tiny steps in between, it's going to be singular to each student. Whether they need loads of help, you go through every step in great detail. If they're quite good at shifting already, or they've got a good ear, or they just find it easy, then you can kind of jump straight to what
Would you
happens in the
do-
piece.
like when you're doing the, and then while it's echoing, like while it's ringing out, you could be like kind of tapping.
I think
If that makes
that's
sense.
quite difficult for most students. I think my like late book fours are starting to tap to hear the intonation for like the end of sights and stuff like that, or perpetual motion. That one. But I think more at this level they're likely to still have a 3 tape.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be visual that they put the one on the 3 tape and then find the tone.
Mm.
Okay?
Yep.
Good. And that's really the reason they've still got the 3 tape by the end of book 3 is only for the shifting in book 4. Like I would hope that by the end of book 1 you're going to get rid of the 2 tape because the 2 is going to be next to 1 or 3. Then sometime in book 2 you're going to get rid of the 1 tape because they don't need it. So then you've got the 3 and maybe a little spot or something for the 4. But then the 3 tape stays until sort of mid book 4 just because of the shifting. And I say to them, this isn't because you need to know where your 3 goes, this is because you need to know where 3rd position is.
So in book 1 you get rid of the 1, book 2 you get rid of the 2, and book
No,
3
the other way around. 2 is going at the end of book 1 so that you've got the 1 and the 3 and you see that it's either next to 3 or next to 1.
get rid of the
1 during book 2. And if they've got a
book
4
1
spot,
gets rid of the 2
2 tape.
Book 2 gets rid of the 1.
So by the time they finish book 2, they've got only 3 and maybe something for the 4 that you would get rid of during book 3.
Yep.
Great. So the only other thing I want to talk about before we move on to the next thing today is the preview box, bar 23. I do teach this in 1st position. I think there's lots of benefits to doing it in 3rd position as well, but for mine, I really want them to practice getting this fingering that I've written in. Gives you a chance to check the mobile left elbow, and it's a really weird set of notes for them to find in 1st position. Really stretch and best friends, stretch back, and then find a B natural. So I just want them to do that because it's tricky and useful for them. I think also it's also tricky and useful, but it's just personal choice, I think, really, at the end of the day. So we would do it in single notes with busy, busy, stop, stop. Find the 4, G sharp, back to the F natural, and then I normally play. They don't need to do busy, busy, stop, stop on each of those. And then they go into single notes, no bowing, and then they would learn it as it is and do it as a box. So that's a preview box. They're doing that while they're still doing a bottom G minor. Yeah? Making sense?
Yep.
Great. And then the only other thing that we haven't really talked about is this zigzaggy bowing or the lift. So you've got a choice. If you're just using the middle and here, then you'll need a lift to come to the heel. So you've got all that space. I teach the lift. I think again there are pros and cons to both types, but just basically you need to make sure that they're at the heel before this note and that they haven't gone.
So make sure you're at the heel by the end.
Either lifting, yeah, or zigzagging. Do you want to just play that to get it
No.
in your head?
Yeah,
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Kit, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, great.
All right. Please could you make sure that you copy in everything that you can from the pictures into the next three pieces so that we can do them more quickly than an hour per piece. I really want to finish book 3 teaching points by the end of this term. Well, actually before the end of this term, but definitely by the end of this term. So we can start to look at the bigger picture stuff of how each group of pieces, not like piece 1 to 5, but like how the pieces, for example, for up bow staccato or resonance or shifting, like we have to have all of the teaching points in our minds in order to pick out those trails that are not linear. They're different pieces from different books. Yeah? Great.
Would you like me, instead of having a different book for the teaching points, to